Hello again, I'm here with you. Welcome to our Kickstarter discussion where we shall be looking at the significance of the High People Music Awards to this sector. Of course, that is in light of the upcoming annual High People Music Awards on the 18th of November 2022. Just a preamble as we get underway, the much-awaited 11th edition of the annual High People Music Awards are closing in on the 18th of November 2022 at the Kampala Serena Hotel, and this is where it shall all go down. This is meant to appreciate artists for their creativity and also boost the morale in the music and arts sector. In a detailed aspect, in the studio this morning we have Nava Gray, a recording artist, and Nicholas Kalungi, the Chief Operations Officer for the High People Foundation, are going to help us wade our way through the music and entertainment waters. Very warm welcome, Mr. Kalungi and Miss Gray.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having us.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
First and foremost, there's a lot. The anticipation,
sure,
being the 11th edition,
sure,
is something different this time around, something better, and of course big. Just first and foremost, tell us about the High People Music Awards.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for having us today. In brief, High People Music Awards has been running for 11 years now. We are going for the 11th edition, but the organization High People has been in the music industry for up to 20 years. Yes, so we have been in the industry starting as a social entertainment platform and moving to a music promotion platform, and then launching these initiatives like the High People Music Awards. Now, the High People Music Awards have been going on for the past 10 years with a lot of challenges here and there, just like another industry. But again, to appreciate awards, you need to understand the context in which the awards are held.
That's right.
The awards are held to appreciate musicians, one, to recognize talent, two, and to also introduce talent, three. Now, those are the benchmarks of organizing awards. Now, if you look at a global context, the awards that are usually talked about are like the Grammys. If you talk about music, they have been around for over 60 years. If you talk about the Blitz in the UK, they have been there for like 40 years. If you talk about the BET in America again, they have been there since 2001. Those are 20 years plus. Now, if you look in Africa, the most famous awards that were there were the Choras. And they were last held, I think, in 2006. 2007, around there, exactly. So now the issue I'm trying to bring here is consistency. For awards to be understood, appreciated, and believed in, they have to be consistent, just like any other thing. Now, if you bring it down here in Uganda, you talk about High People Music Awards for having been there for 11 consecutive years. Never mind, even during COVID, we had scientific awards. We awarded musicians. We appreciated musicians. So that gives you an understanding that consistency is key. That's why High People has been here amidst several challenges here and there. Of course, as one of the organizers, I know we can do better. There is always criticism here and there, but for as long as that criticism is positive, you pick it up and take it on the next level. The challenge we get in this country of ours that we love so much is we fail to understand criticism that is positive, but also get so much into the negative criticism, and we fail to do what we must do. Because at the end of the day, people complain about Grammys, but they continue. People complain about Brits, but they continue. So in the same spirit, people complain about High People, but you have to keep to what you organized and what you set out to do. At the end of the day, like any competition, be it elections, the winners will celebrate. Those that haven't come first will say we have been rigged out. In football, if you're a football fan, a losing team will say the referee was on the other side.
Interesting.
Exactly. So there is always that. How did I win? How did this other person win?
Looks like the High People Foundation is grappling with a lot of very direct criticism, especially when it comes to the conduct. But that is not something to discuss right now. Perhaps in your submissions.
Actually, maybe Chris,
you'll clarify on that.
For context purposes.
Context,
High People Music Awards has no criticism right now. The most criticism we got was like 4 years ago. And that was an issue of defamation. And the courts held that we are right. The publishers, in that case, I will not mention, they were wrong. And they agreed on an out-of-court settlement. We are past that at this point. Because Chris, you're a journalist. If you allege something, you must prove.
That's right.
It is one thing to say that Chris is corrupt. It is for another for me to prove that he is. We can easily sit here and say, one Nicholas Kalungi is corrupt. But then if they tell you, Chris, bring the proof, that Nicholas is corrupt and you start moving around in circles, then you know you're just alleging what you can't prove.
All right, no doubt about that. Allow me interface with Miss Nava Gray. You are an artist and have been at this for how many years?
I think it's since 2011.
2011.
I've been here.
Tell me, the excitement, of course, ahead of these year's awards is, well, a fever pitch, so to speak. What are you looking forward to, and what are those, not chances as such, but I'm sure you're like, this time around, I either win or they lose.
No, by the way, I'm going to be a performing artist.
You'll be a performing artist?
Yeah, I'm going to headline as a
you're going to headline?
Yes, as a performer, alongside the Baby Cool and Kenneth Mugabe.
Afandemia.
Yes, then we have those other international artists that are going to come through, the likes of Roberto, Zambia.
Yeah, we shall announce more others.
And there's so many others that are coming through, yeah.
So you're excited about this, no doubt about it.
Always excited.
Tell us, what should we look out for in your performance?
No, the very
Anything
best,
new?
because whatever I do, I want to give it my best, to the perfection, you know?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Kalunji, who are the nominees and how is the nomination process conducted?
Thank you, Chris. The nominees are going to be released next week. First, you have been collecting data. You know, awards have a lot of data collection.
That's right.
Who has been doing well? How have they been playing on YouTube, Facebook, radio stations, TV stations? So you do that tally, and together you get to know who are the nominees. So by next week, the nominees will be out. Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Best East African Act, Best African Act, among others.
How many are the categories in total?
There are about 15 categories in total. We reduced the categories from over 40 and remained with a quality 15 categories, where there is no duplication, there is no contradiction or anything. Because our music is not well segmented, people would say Afrobeat and Zouk are almost the same. How do you know that this is Afrobeat? How do you know that this is Zouk? Someone can do a song, Nava Gray can do it when it has Afrobeat, Zouk, and reggae. So you can nominate her in reggae and say, but I'm also supposed to be in Afrobeat. Now, because this is an industry that is growing, we nurture it by reducing the numbers, we remain with quality, but also ensure that we pick up everyone. For example, we have regional categories. Who has been the best from up country? Because there are so many musicians out there. Afandemia from Busoga, Ray J has now become a Ugandan artist fully, but he started from high people. Now, that's what the awards do. They will bring you something you have never heard about. They introduce you something before you know they become very big. Now, when those become very big, they graduate. Just like a school is. When you finish your degree, other people come in. So those that have graduated might say the awards are not important.
That's right.
Those that are in the course of graduating, they will know that that course is important. Exactly. So that's what we always manage. Like Nava has pointed, we are not just Uganda. We are African. That's why you see we are inviting artists from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Zambia, among other countries. So we are trying our best to make sure we look to be, and actually we are Africa. That's what we are trying to do. But again, for context purposes, Uganda is celebrating 60 years since independence, 6 decades. Now you need to understand how has the industry evolved. From the Christopher Sebadukas, if you remember. I've heard these songs, I wasn't around. He died in 1997. I was 7 years then. But Christopher Sebadukas, to the Eli Wamaras, Fire Bongole Rutayas, Sebada, Basude, Livingstone Kasozi, Shanks VVD, Menton Sama, Menton Kono, all those artists. To Gravity of today, Fit Famake of today, Afandemi of today. There has been different change, growth all over and over. Now, whenever you don't make these things and appreciate them, you get a problem. That's why you see, we are very happy from where we are sitting, because if you look at the past 15 years, we can tell you who were the best artists in all those years. At least we have 60 that were nominated. You might not consider the winners, but you know from those 60, you know those ones that are best in 2012, 2014, 2020, 2022.
Allow me carry that point and throw it to Nava Gray. She's an artist, and I'm sure there's a lot that goes on within the industry that you would love to share and give us your thoughts on, especially when it comes
the thoughts
developments. I don't want to curtail anything or even limit you. Please just take it on.
Like, for example, when it comes to quality music, I mean, there's a lot of quality music that has not been considered yet. I don't know, for some reason, because there are very good musicians out there that put out their stuff and you feel it's perfected. Maybe then okay, at one point you find the media, I don't know if the social media or something of that sort, these kinds of people that are good at what they do are kind of pushed aside. But for high people, which I've noticed about high people, they consider quality.
The quality.
The quality. You mean, for example, there were so many nominations that I got. I didn't have videos yet, but the music was really good, and high people appreciated that. So for them, it's about quality. It's not about quantity.
Okay. And then with regard to the nature of interaction and developments within the sector, we've seen reports of artists being at loggerheads with each other over copyright, over the fact that lyrics were either copied from one or the other. How are we solving some of these, what I would consider entertainment or music hygiene problems?
You know, there's a problem lately about originality. Artists are springing up because, most especially because someone else is doing something, so they want to kind of do the same thing. You know, that's the problem. But if you stand up and be original, do what you feel is worth yourself. Don't do something because someone else is doing the same style. That's the problem we have lately, because like kind of the Jamaican kind of thing came through, and the Ugandan artists want to do that everyone wants to do that. Or maybe you go to a producer with your own craft, because I kind of experienced that. You go to a producer with your own craft, something that you pen down, and then they tell you, oh, it's nice, but it won't work.
But it won't work.
So you kind of lose your...
the audience wants.
Yeah, so you kind of lose your, what they call it?
The mojo, so
your
to
esteem,
speak,
and you're like, okay, maybe if I do like the certain artist that is making it, maybe I will whatever.
Does that kind of explain why we are hearing a lot of Nigerian slang into many of our artists'
and yet we can be authentic enough, but there's a certain kind of like a pressure or a force kind of sucking the life out of every artist that is coming out.
Wow.
So everyone needs to be who they are, fit in your shoes. We have artists who have like been there for like 10 years or more, but they have kept at it, and they have suddenly come out. So you just have to be consistent and love what you do.
Yeah, so the young artist there who is watching Never Grey, take us through some of these challenges and how you are waiting.
The challenges will always be there.
How are you doing it? How consistent are you? And what mechanisms are you employing that any other person out there who is grappling with the same challenges can adopt?
For example, like, let me give you an example. A song like Ningo Mloge, I released it, was around 2012. Yeah. But till now, it's the most requested song.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that I don't have other songs. I have other songs on my YouTube channel.
Okay, that is Ninga Omloge.
Ningo Mloge.
Can I have a little bit of sound of that just for a few seconds? I need to get into this vibe, you know? Never Grey, Ninga Omloge official video. Play it for me, just for me, don't worry.
Wherever you go, it's the song.
right there. That is Nava Gray.
No, I also have another
Ninga
song
Omloge.
called Nterede that also.
That's a rare one. In other words, there's a lot of stuff acting on you.
Yes.
Yeah, now the Nterede song that I also wrote kind of made its way to Nigeria without my knowledge.
Okay.
And not a rapper called M.I.
I'm hoping.
wanted me to kind of change it.
Not hoping as such, but I'm wondering, is Nava Gray one of the possible nominees?
I mean, when
I don't want to rig.
when the nominations are out, we shall know that. But what Nava is trying to tell you is quality lasts longer.
Yes.
Ningo Mologe 10 years later, it still sounds as nice as it was.
Is still sounding
the same story. That's what she's trying to say, that when you do quality, you might not have a song every year, and that means you might not be nominated every year, but the market will still like what you're doing. She has mentioned something about how they can improve as musicians, and why you also talked about why Nigeria is dominant here. We need to appreciate two things. One, music is market driven, demand driven.
That's right.
People love what they love. If they love Nigerian sound, the TVs, the radios will play the Nigerian sound. Now, two things are going to happen. One, do we have policy that tells NTV that you played 70% Ugandan music? That is one. Then two, if that policy is there, does Ugandan music have the quality that any TV can play?
That's right.
Now, if those two can be addressed, we shall find a way of competing. But you know, there is what they call the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Now it applies for everything. If they can be free trade everywhere, they should also be free music. We shouldn't feel bad because Nigerians are playing here. We should work harder to play in Lagos, to play in Accra, to play in Johannesburg, among others. But whenever we sit here and say no, Nigerians are over dominating here, they have opened, there is Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Do your good music. I've had Fameka playing in Nigeria. I've had Nava Gray playing in South Africa. I've had Juliana Eddie Kenz played all over the world. Don't mention Bebe Kulavi every day, everywhere, Chameleon everywhere. So there are no limitations. It is us limiting one another. Now that's how the award is coming. They show you that you can be big like Diamond Platinums. You can be big like the guy in Nigeria, among other people. So now when you pick up that, you will know that now you're competing with Africa, not with your homeboy Chris from Masaka or Nava from Chotera.
Miss Gray, away from the fact that awards like High People do a lot in helping artists, especially the young and budding ones, come up, how does one transition from one trying to bring some music forth to a performing artist? What is involved in there? The money, the cost of production, everything. Of
course, there will be the money will always be, you know, for many artists a challenge, but it has to be part of the entire thing. But the most important thing that I've realized and experienced as an artist, one should be passionate and knowing fully that you are destined to be, that you don't it's not something that you pick up or somebody told you, oh, you sing so well. It could be your calling is different. You have to be sure that this is for you, because when I was starting, I wasn't looking at the money. It was all about passion. You know? I
was just about to ask, can I consider if, for example, I say, today broadcasting has failed, let me go and
then that means it wasn't your calling. Because with music, it's a passion. It keeps even with the attacks and the criticism and everything, it keeps calling you. That's how it's been in my life.
Okay.
So you just have to be passionate about what you're doing. Do it to your fullest, because it's you naturally feel it. It's not something that you force. Or because I have money, I should go and do music. No. It could be.
All right.
Maybe Chris, to encourage you.
Yeah.
The music industry.
You want to take me away from broadcasting?
No, the music industry has what they call free entry and free exit. That's why you have Crystal Panda here also singing. Chris, if you think you have the vibe, we can organize studio type.
Oh my God.
Yes, you record your song. If it becomes big, you will apologize to NTV managers when you are leaving.
Interesting there. Away from that, allow me delve into what the top people within the music industry, the ones that are not may not be involved in the singing or even the performing and the production, the ones that are building the infrastructure to help the ecosystem develop. Where are we? I believe High People and the High People Foundation are part of those sector players. Improving the infrastructure that helps the entire music ecosystem or the entertainment industry. Where are we? What is the discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Now, there are two layers to that.
Yeah.
There is government, there is private sector. Government puts in place a conducive environment for all of us to do our business. But again, government through the Minister of Gender and Social Development has to put policy.
Yeah.
Is copyright there? Is it being implemented? Now we are having issues there. Musicians have been, remember during the COVID period, that issue of meetings in Gulu and all those other places being organized under the Uganda Musicians Association. But again, the big names are not there at that point. Now you know there are groups, this one is there, this one is not there. Now at that point we are remaining a little not very organized.
Politics.
Of course, the politics of that day. Yeah. These ones are in red, these ones are in yellow. Now that again plays against the industry. Yet at the end of the day, we could say we are all musicians. I support A, you support B, but music is music. Let us grow our industry. Because remember, like you know, Chris, politicians meet and agree at one point. They might disagree during elections, but later they agree. Now the musicians should also learn to agree, and they also learn to agree to disagree. That on this point we don't agree, but let us move forward. Now that is at the government point. Now at the private point, you have private investors. Yeah. High people, Swangzaven, Phenon Records, so many others to mention, but the prominent ones. That's right. Each one of them are investing what they can invest. Of course, the industry needs more money. That's because if you are to compete with like Nigeria, you'll hear the father of Davido is the governor somewhere. This one is being funded by the governor of this state. This one is being funded by the government. Stories have been told that Diamond Platinums was being bankrolled by the government of Tanzania in one way or the other. Are we having that happening in Uganda? Is it structured? Who are we supporting and who are we not supporting? Are we favoring those that are supporting the government of the day, or we are supporting talent? Because it will not be a very good place to be in if we have very good artists that are not receiving support, yet there are those that are not very good that are receiving support. Are we balancing? Who are we supporting? If Fikfameka is good, what is government doing to help him become international? If Navagre is good, what is government doing to help him become international? If you remember, there was a story of Eddie Kenzo. After him doing so many things, at one point he thought he wasn't receiving the love and support from his country. Yet he was representing world over. So now those are the issues we need to address. Is government doing its part? Is private sector doing its part? How do we come together and improve? But what I can tell you, Chris, briefly, we are not at a very bad place. We have a good start point. We have very talented artists. You know them. David Rutalo, Chameleon, Bebe Cole, Gravite, Fikfameka, the ladies, Juliana Kanyomos, Rema Namakula, Nava Gray, Shiba Kalungi, Spice Diana, the young ones are funding me. There are just so many. Yeah. We have so many talented artists. All right,
let's leave it to, before I come to the very last word from you, let's leave it to Navagre to give us something that we should take home for reflection or food for thought with regard to the industry, but also tell us how you're looking forward to that performance, headlining the event.
Of course, I usually look forward, so much forward to performances.
Do you have anything special in store for us?
So much.
So much?
So much in store.
Okay.
But one word, I mean, this word, like I've always told so many artists, especially those that want to be artists. It's not because you watch Navagre and you want to be a Navagre. There's been a kind of a mix-up or a misunderstanding. There are challenges as well that artists go through. So it's not like 100% deal that you will make it here. You have to love what you're doing.
That's right.
Passion has to be part of it. Otherwise, when the money is gone and everything and all the funds are gone, will you still stop? Will you stop once everything is gone? Once the management is gone and all the sponsorship and finances are gone, will you stop music? I mean, if it's part of you, still keep going. You know, there's something that the late Mutukuzi talked about doing music that relates to the soul more than the flesh.
All right.
And that's what kept him going.
Finally, I've just been reading a tweet here, and somebody wants to understand what your views are on evolution of music ahead of the 60 years of independence and the achievements that you can point to as milestones for Uganda that mustn't be, well, ignored.
I mean, the music industry needs a lot of support, especially regarding the quality of music that is being put out there.
That's right.
And there has to be like, I don't know, any kind of segment or program, or I don't know if the ministry should be involved at one point, but we need like a kind of a strategy for quality
Okay.
Quality, not just anyone, because anyone can sing, anyone can do music lately because of the, I don't know, the technology and everything, but something that will stay, you know?
All right, that's very interesting.
Something that will stay.
Mr. Kalunji.
Yes,
18th November.
Sure. But to answer that question, the industry has evolved, like I've told you, from 60 years to now. The genres have improved, the production has improved. What Nava is saying is we need deliberate action to move to the next level. That's what she deliberate. Now that should start from government and private sector, like I had hinted on it.
Okay.
Now to all the viewers of NTV who are the majority in the country, we thank you for viewing. The awards are coming on the 18th of November at the Serena Hotel, starting 6 p.m. till late. We promise a show like never before. Like Chris, I've told you, for after 1 decade, 10 years, this is the 11th year, we have had mistakes here and there, and we have learned from our past mistakes. We know our positives, we know our weaknesses. So I can assure you, Chris, and all our viewers, that you are going to see a show like never before. Okay. That's why you see, we are even confident enough that we have already announced the lead performers. Bebe Cool, very good at live band. Nava Gray, very good at live band. Kenneth Mugabe, very good at live band. Afandemi are very good in the Eastern region. Last year, our lead performer was Afrigo Band. And people say, now, after you bring Afrigo Band, what is next in store? Now, if you bring Nava Gray, you bring Bebe Cool, Afandemi, and Kenneth Mugabe, you have brought very good quality. Now, the other thing is, like I told you, we should, as stakeholders of the industry, we should agree that mistakes can be done, but we should learn to agree and disagree on certain things.
That's right.
My point of view might not be your point of view. At the end of the day, like we always say, the awards are decided by votes. The year David Utao won Artist of the Year, he was the best artist. Last year, Eddie Kenzo won, and no one said anything about it, because we know what is on the ground. You see that?
Why?
Yeah, it is. No, I mean, Chris, like you know, you do research, you know it very well. You know that this artist is performing better than this one. But because someone might think they're better than the other one, you put them to vote.
All right, interesting discussion we've had here, and I'm having a lot of feedback that is coming through. For Nava Gray, somebody's asking that of recent, just about a few days ago, the country grappled with the news of the death of one of the young musicians in the country, and there is concern that for the young ones, the pressure is too much to perform at some of these events, and they keep the guy who did Sukula Seminti.
No, he's alive.
No, but the lady.
Yes.
So the question here is, the pressure is too much on these young ones who are trying to make it, so much so that in this particular case, it's seen as they were trying to reach to an event, or rather another event, so that they're able to make some money. What the pressure is too much. What can be done to ensure that at least there is, you know, common sense in how this thing is done?
There's a problem there. We have people that's so-called management. I'm not saying all the management, but specific kind of people that pose as managers that put you on that kind of pressure when you're starting, that you have to do all these shows, you have 5 shows lined up, you have 5
shows in a night,
you know, so they are put on pressure that you have to get to a certain kind of point where you're like, maybe with like these other artists, you cannot be like any other artist.
Nobody see Chris.
And music does not, you cannot separate music from God, by the way. He gives the talent. So these people should also have, I mean, when you're starting the music industry, you have to be a godly,
you have to be godly,
God-fearing, you have to be prayerful, because you don't know what you're fighting against at the end of the day.
The principalities in the skies.
The ordinances and everything.
Interesting there.
You see, Chris, that's what I've been doing by saying deliberate action. Why should Nava Gray have a concert on Saturday in Kampala, get booked in Gulu, and in Masindi on the same day? Now, those are the issues we are having.
Who accepts
Someone
that
is rushing to perform in Kampala at 8, go to Gulu at 10, and be in Masindi at midnight. Now, that goes back to what I've told you, deliberate action. If Nava has been booked for Gulu, let her be in Gulu. If Chameleon has been booked for Seta, let him be in Seta. I've heard of a story of a musician who has booked 6 concerts in one night. One of that concert was in Kitugu. Another one was in Masindi and in Masaka. And they are always on call, the managers. We are coming, increase speed from 100 to 150. And you know what happens with overspeeding. Now that goes back to deliberate action. And now that's where the government must come in and be clear. If you have been booked at Serena, it is only Serena.
For the night.
You know what happens on the 31st? Going in the new year.
There's a lot
you find an artist having 15 shows.
Massacre.
15 shows.
Massacre.
And she knows that very well. Now, how do we do that?
How
you
is
at
that supposed to be
Sheraton, you at
regulated?
Serena.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be clear guidelines that an artist can't perform in 3 districts in the same day or in a radius of 100 kilometers.
Is there an association for managers that should be able to come on top of this?
There is an association for managers.
But
I
is
think
it
the Emma
clear?
Carroll says and
But
all
is
those.
it transparent?
And now the issue is, like I've told you,
Yeah.
they are blocks. There is a yellow block, there is a red block.
Like everyone is on their own.
Everyone is on their
I know,
own.
Chris,
on
that
their
goes
own,
back
like,
to deliberate government
For example,
action.
if, for example, you have a certain kind of a manager who maybe there's a sponsor who gives you a manager that I've put this kind of money, you have to kind of pay it in this amount of time. So you're put on pressure.
So there are a lot more things at play than just
Yes, there are
wanting
so many
to
rules.
do a lot more concerts.
Exactly,
The
yes.
pressure to pay back money
Sometimes the
that has
pressure
been
is on the
invested in them.
artist, you know.
Okay.
You have to dress a certain kind of way. You have to kind of appeal to a certain kind of, you know,
But I think
crowds.
Chris, even artist student agree.
Yeah,
Whether
sure.
Chris has invested 200 million, you can't do 6 shows in one day.
All right. Those are aspects that I hope those that are concerned must be able to take up, and the discussions continue in streamlining an industry. Many thanks for joining us. Nava Gray,
Thank you so much
an
for having
artist,
us.
and
Thank you.
one that will be headlining the High People Music Awards on the 18th of November. Many thanks to you too, Mr. Nicholas Kalunji, Chief Operations Officer at the High People Foundation, for those insights and perspectives. Now, as we enter the final bend of Morning at NTV this Friday, being the very last of our very first week of October, just allow me go into our birthday greetings. A glorious birthday to our darling, this is what I'm reading, Mrs. Annette Muhwezi. May this new age bring you unlimited joy, blessings, increase and favor in everything that you do. You are unique, intelligent, and a pattern to us. We love you and celebrate you. Keep winning, from your husband, Alex Muhwezi, and all the people of the Katarihera family. They are sending you their greetings. And from Morning at NTV, all we can say is that may the stars align and, of course, spell your name in the galaxies of destiny, so that the years ahead can be beautiful and, of course, very rewarding there. I do, of course, continue to upload those that make time to join us on Morning at NTV throughout the week. It's always a pleasure having your company. There's a lot that we can be up to, and of course, do remember to always be in touch and follow the discussions by giving your feedback. The hashtag on Twitter is Morning at NTV. You can also follow at Chris Higenyi. You can also follow at Priscilla Nali, so that we can be one huge family as we move forward. That will do it for this edition of Morning at NTV. It's been a pleasure having your company, and I hope the discussions that we have undertaken here have emboldened your way that you're looking at things in Uganda. For now, that's it. Quality programming continues here on NTV. Please do keep it here. Good morning.